Yeah, honestly, yeah. Thank you for having me here. And
Pretty dope, huh?
it is. This is nice. I got lost coming up here, but good thing I had GPS, so it's all good.
But no, thanks for being here for Fight Week. I knew that it was tight, but I was like, we got to talking about you, me, and Josh, and I'm like, yeah, I think he'll be in here. So I appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, no problem, man. Like honestly, no disrespect. Like I told my mom, and I was like, I really don't want to go.
Yeah.
I honestly, like, just because, like I was telling you before we started, I don't like to be around people when it gets closer to fights.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those people, like, I don't have a problem talking to people. Like, I can talk to people all day, but like, I'm so used as a competitor and being really, really competitive as I am. I don't like being around people because I feel like people, when I'm around them, it's kind of distractions.
Yeah.
To me personally.
Right.
And as being a competitor since I was 4 and wrestling on the mats, I'm so used to being by myself. Like my coach, my dad, and my older brother Dustin would coach me. And half the time they wouldn't even coach me. They would just be there in the corner because like it was so natural for me to compete at a high level, and I've been doing it repetition for so long. And I was so used to going to wrestling tournaments by myself since I was 4. Like my mom and dad would take me everywhere. If my brother couldn't go, my dad would be in my corner, and I would travel all over the place, like literally by myself. Like I would travel without my kids club team, like
to wrestle.
Yeah, by
to
myself.
Compete.
Like I'll go to national tournaments by myself. Like,
bro, this makes so much sense with you.
So many friends, like playing DSs and all that. Like, but I'm so used to being by myself. So like, I feel like sometimes like a lot of coaches like now, like I run into now, in MMA, they don't really know how to. I'm not trying to disrespect any coaches on any level, but like I don't think they understand. Like I need you there, obviously.
Yeah.
But like I like obviously like to be like left alone.
Yeah,
like,
they also have to respect that they understand that about you as the competitor. You know what I'm saying? But Trey, that's why I think it was because like I said, I watched you. I think the first time I saw you was when you were with Mike Murray. And
yeah, Mikey,
yeah, he was in here. That was a fun show.
Cool Mikey,
dude.
yeah.
And but then after that, I was like, those people were gone, and it makes sense now because you felt like you were, you've been doing this since you were little by yourself.
Yeah.
So like going to Trey, I was like, there's a giant relationship that you develop with Trey. You're like, yes, I feel ready to go pro, but it's obviously whatever Trey says. You know what I mean? Like I feel that way. And there has to be that, like, trust. Not necessarily like, I'm not trying to be like, oh, how sweet, like a family. But, like, for real. Like, if I had a question with you, you'd be like, oh, yeah, no, it's really easy. Like, here, let me work with you on this or something. And doing that over time, then you get that connection, which is super important in this game.
Oh, it is. Personal connection is very important. Like, I'll talk to my... I think the best connection I have with my coach is my coach from high school, Chad Parks, and Jeff Albers.
I've seen them on your Instagram.
And they're like my older brothers, both of them. And I always talk to Chad on an older brother level, and he always told me, like, as a coach, to make you a really good coach is you gotta understand your athletes. Every athlete you coach is different, man.
Right. So
like some athletes don't like to be yelled at. I'm one. I don't like to be yelled at. I don't like to be talked to when I'm doing something, man.
Yeah.
There's some athletes that like that. I'm not like that. Like I'm okay with you talking to me afterwards, but if we're doing like live sparring or something like that, I don't like when people talk to me, man, because that's my time to focus. Like and as crazy as it sounds, like MMA is a selfish, conceited sport, man.
Oh, for sure.
It's just like wrestling, man. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty selfish and conceited when it gets closer to time. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I am. I'm really honest. Like, I only care about myself when it comes to competing. I think every athlete should be selfish and conceited to a point.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like it doesn't even go for MMA. Like, it goes for every sport, female and male. Like, you should only focus on yourself, because at the end of the day, you can only control what you can do, how you can compete. I mean, you can't control what everyone else is doing around you. And this goes for all the athletes, man. Like, I would be more focused on yourself. Like, obviously you want to do it for your team, but like when you're doing it for yourself, that team aspect will take care of itself.
Right.
Like, and that's the way I think, man. Like, a lot of people think, oh, you're stuck up, you're an asshole. You don't really care about anyone but yourself.
You know what you want.
Which I do care about my teammates. I love my teammates. Like,
of course.
But they're not the ones, like, when I step out in the octagon, they're not the ones standing there with me.
No.
I mean, when that cage locks, it's me and the other dude. So my whole life, obviously, I guess I just would say I am stuck up on myself. Like, I only care what I'm doing. I mean, like I said, once you walk into that cage, my coaches can't come in there with me. Like, they see everything that's going on, but they're not in there with me. They're not taking hits like I am. Mm-hmm. And you have to be conceited and selfish to get what you want, you know? And that's the way I look at it. That's my mindset on everything. So I know there's a lot of people out there that think I'm probably conceited and come across
you're
as
a teddy bear, bro.
Come across as an asshole, but it's just like, that's just who I am, man.
Well, they're like
in a mature way, though. I would say I'm in a mature way. I know how to. When it's time to get serious, I'm serious. Mm-hmm. But if it's not time to get serious, I'm not serious. Yeah. Like, that's just how I am. Like, when I know I have a fight and the contract is signed, then I turn into that competitive Patrick Mahomes dickhead where I'm just worried about myself. I'm trying to outwork everybody in the gym. I don't really care what anybody thinks about me. Yep. I still don't care what everybody thinks about me because what people think about me is not paying my bills. No. You know, it's not putting food on my family's table. So why would I care about anyone thinks?
It doesn't get you that much closer to your future vision that you have anyways.
So so that's how I feel. I mean, that's who I am. I mean, I've been like this since I was 4, man.
You know who that reminds me of? For real. I was listening to this guy. He was doing a podcast, and he used to play college ball with Dwayne Wade. Mm-hmm. And they was like, "What you used to play with Dwayne? What's the one thing like that sticks out when you guys were playing?" Like, it wasn't playing with him on the court. It wasn't any of that stuff. He goes, I remember every Friday we would go out, and like every Friday night, and then every like Saturday morning, and then Saturday night we would like do something. He goes, every Friday and every Saturday, Dwayne had 3 extra practices. Mm-hmm. He never went out. He never did anything. He was kind of, selfish and island, kind of seemed like this dude. Mm-hmm. And he goes, but he knew what was at stake, Mm-hmm. Like, he goes, I'm going to get drafted. Like, he knew the vision. He knew that, like, I'm not going to get there by going out on Friday, going out on Saturday. Yeah. He's like, I got to put in the extra practice. Same with, like, Kobe, Mm-hmm. And that's even in the all they talk about. They were like, we have practice at 6. And Kobe has already been there for 2 hours shooting, Like, that will develop either the people around you to, like, be better, which is the teammates, or match that level, which, of course, Trey and they all do. Or they're just gonna write you off because they're not that goal focused, Mm-hmm. So I knew that about you too. Like, we could be like goofing off or whatever, doing like the break or some shit. Yeah. But I'm like, when it's time, like, he's still here, he's practicing, and like he knows what's going on and what is required to be done to get the things that are, high profile, because no one else is gonna match that.
No, I agree, man. I'm happy you said that because there's a lot of athletes that have a hard time of balancing with what's going on right now and what happens later.
For real.
And a lot of them, in my opinion, I might come across as an asshole. I feel like there's a lot of people that want to be a superstar or want to get to the UFC, but they don't know how to balance out their lifestyle. Like, they want to go party.
Yeah.
They don't want to put in the extra work. Like, you can't have, my dad would always tell me, and my coaches, like Chad Parks and Jeff, you can't have 2 slices of the cake. You only have 1. You know what I mean? Something, you got to sacrifice something to get something else. Like, if that's either women, partying, drinking, smoking, whatever you like to do, man. Like, because at the end of the day, that all adds up. I mean, it adds up on your practices. It adds up on your training. Adds up on your cardio. Mm-hmm. I mean, and a lot of people don't understand that. Like, they really don't. They don't think it affects them. And then a couple years down the road, there's guys overlapping them. There's those guys who like to party and drink and smoke and do all that.
Bye-bye.
And women, like, they stay here. And then the people who don't do that as much, they go higher up.
Did you want a water or anything? I'm sorry, bro.
Oh, no, it's all good. I don't need no water. I already have 2 gallons I have to drink, so
Yeah.
I'm on my gallon, 2 gallons.
Well, I was just helping you. I wanted to knock it out. You
no,
know what I mean?
I'm good, man. I'll
Nick's
be all
over-
right. Yeah, I'm all right, man.
Water.
Water just, it makes me sick, man, thinking about it.
Mm.
But no, yeah, there's, and a lot of them don't understand it before it's too late. That's the sad thing, man. Like, I mean, everyone has to sacrifice something to get something, man. And
Well,
that's
mostly it's that short term. You described every short term pleasure that people can't give up. You know, I mean, think about it. It's women or relationships, food, you know,
drinking,
time,
smoking.
Yeah, just putting stuff into your body. It's all like quick, short time shit that they can't drop in order to get the thing that's like they don't look that far ahead. And you know, it was weird because when I went in the gym, you all had that same kind of attitude.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like all the guys that are doing fucking phenomenal with marathon. It was all the same. It was universal. And forever, I thought just like you, I'm like, oh, I'm an island. Like, I want big things and to do these things. And so, I mean, even just financially, like in the room, you know what I'm saying? Like I had to tally up all this shit. I go, damn, like I had to sacrifice, you know, going to this thing with vacation with friends to like Florida and shit because they were doing the short time pleasure. But I'm like, if I skip all that and I save the money, then I could get these awesome microphones. You know, like it was always like,
and then you can go to, and that's another good point you just made. Like a lot of that stuff you say, it's not any different. It's like going to a party. You're not missing anything at the party. I mean,
it's
like,
a party.
It's like when you're drinking, you're not missing anything from drinking a beer or smoking. Like, it's just like I said, people don't have their priorities right. And for those people that then they can mix it all and do all of that together, it doesn't work like that, man. Like,
it comes crashing down. The roof caves in pretty. It may not be quick, you know, like you said, a couple years. But then you're like, oh, I fucked up.
Yeah,
for years.
And I've been preaching it a lot. I tell my wrestlers at the middle school, like, I said, don't get caught up in going to parties very much. I mean, unless you don't want to take any sport serious and you just don't see yourself doing that, so go ahead. But if you really want to get to the next level, like college and NBA, I said I would try to manage that really tight of going out. Like, yes, sometimes you probably need to go out once in a while.
Yeah.
But make sure you manage that where you're not doing it all the time.
Right.
And I've been preaching that even to the guys around me sometimes. Like, I was like, you don't have to quit smoking if you like doing that, but like, cut it down. Like, you don't need to do it every day. You don't need a party every weekend. You don't have to have, you don't need to, if you're talking to a girl and it doesn't work and it just doesn't work, it's just like sometimes you just need a manager and just maybe talk to a couple of them. I don't know. Like, it's just, I think just management, time management, man. And a lot of them I don't think understand that. Like, I mean, if you really want something, you will sacrifice everything to get that something. It's like almost like Conor McGregor. That dude had nothing. Yeah. Like
zero.
And his wife came in for him, and look now, he worked hard now, and now look at him, he's partying now. It's like work hard now, party later. Yeah. That's my model. I mean, like,
but he also can party now because not only he had nothing. You watched that documentary about him?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I watched a little bit on it. I don't really like I said, I do watch a little bit time to time, but like he's a big one that stands out to me because like all he did was train. Like all he did was train. Now he's made so much money where he can just party his life away. That's what I want to do. Like, everyone always asks me to go out, this and that, and I'm like, I don't mind stepping out once in a while, but I have my sights focused on getting to the UFC and making a crap ton of money, man. That's what I want to do. That's my goal. I want to make a crap ton of money where my mom and dad don't have to work.
Right, it's
I don't
not
have
selfish.
to work.
Yeah.
And like, I really want to reach that goal. Do I care to get a title for a UFC shot? Not really, because it doesn't look like it really makes a difference on how it pays. I just want to make, the only reason why I'm still here is because I love competing. I like the feel of it when you're back there getting ready. Like I like when I'm being nervous. Like I am nervous. Every time I step out, I am nervous. Like it's just, I like that feeling. It's addicting. Yeah. It's almost like a toxic girlfriend. It's addicting. Like once you get that weird feeling, you're like, dang, man, like you kind of like that. Just like, it's just like a little rush, man. And I get that every time before I walk out, man. Like I like it, dude. Like that's like wrestling.
My toxic girlfriend.
It's like a toxic girlfriend, man. Like you're like, dang, man, like she's really bad for me, but at the same time I like her. It's so weird. Like that's how I feel like cutting weight is. That's how I feel like fighting is. And
she makes me do all these weird things
I
to
know,
get
that's
to
what
her,
I'm
but
saying.
you know?
Yeah, it's just like, dang, don't stop what you're doing. But yeah, that's how I feel, man. And and that's the only reason why I'm still doing it, honestly. Like if there wasn't money involved and bettering my life and my family, I probably wouldn't be doing this.
Well, there's
Like,
nothing bigger in this world to do. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like to build that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something different. I have the same vision for like, you know, my parents. Like
Yeah.
you know, this is a vision that now it's spoiled. Way to go! But like,
Yeah.
if my dad watches this all the way, I want to pull up in like his favorite car is a Corvette. So I'm like, oh, I have a dream to pull up in one of those, and he's like, oh, I'm so proud of you, son. This or whatever. But what I did beforehand is park the other one on the side of the street by the house and be like, oh no, that's yours.
Yeah.
And then like toss him the keys, and he like, no, it isn't. I'm like, just to see that? Oh, dude, I can't. I'm waiting for it.
That would be priceless, man. I mean, we all gotta start somewhere, man. Like it don't matter what we're doing. We all gotta start somewhere, man. And was gonna say like, yeah, I mean that's the reason why I'm here, man. If it wasn't for money and I like to compete, like I probably wouldn't be here doing this, man. Like, cause like I said, I'm past the point where like I don't need a UFC belt to be happy. I hear a lot of guys in the gym like, oh, I want to be a champion, this and that. I was like, well, having that belt, that object, don't pay your bills, man.
Yeah.
Like as you've seen, they don't pay like that. So like to me, I don't care about objects, dude. Like a UFC belt is like me winning like some wrestling medals.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. Like it's just
and
it's
to be
just
honest,
an object.
that's healthy.
It's just like it's
a thing.
Obviously a metal thing they put together. And it's just it's like a little WWE belt.
Yeah.
Like, that's the way I look at it, man. Like, so when people are like, oh, I want to be champion, I just kind of laugh at it because it's just like, I mean, I'd rather make more money than carry a belt around. Like, it doesn't define who you are. I mean, objects don't define who you are, man. Like,
well, and I want to make it clear for them, too. When you talk about money, there's a difference between talking about money for a selfish reason and talking the way you're talking about money. Because you're wanting to have money not to... you know, not to do this anymore, not to do this, but you know that vehicle can take you places that this is like, that's the goal. Like, you're like, I'm a competitor. It's in my DNA since I've been 4 years old. This is the route. I know what I have to do. And at the end of it, there's money. There's sponsorships and there's all this kind of stuff. But like, it's ultimately not going to be for me anyways, because it sounds like it's for your family. Yeah.
And I would like to get back to my community too. I would like to be so filthy rich like Conor McGregor. Like I would like where I wouldn't have to do anything. Like I can get back to my community. Like obviously I want a future family one day so my kids can go to school. Like a lot of it, like you said, is not selfish reasons. Like, you know what I mean? My reasons why I want so much money is I can get back to my community. Hopefully I can start my own programs for kids, like obviously that don't get the opportunity to play sports, you know? Like, just like some of them don't have that guidance where
that
they
support,
should probably,
you know?
the support where you should like, hey, you should do this. Like, or, you know what I mean? A level foundation, I don't know. Like, I just would give all my money back, honestly. Like, obviously, still have a crap ton of money. But, like, my reason, like you said, my reason behind is not selfish. But to get there, it's going to be very selfish.
Yeah,
because
it always is.
Everybody wants the same goal. You know, everybody wants to have a lot of money, you know what I mean? Like, so it is to get there, you have to be selfish and conceited, man. But when you get there, I mean, that's when you start giving back. Yeah, and that's what I want to do. I want to give back, man.
That I knew that about you too. Like I could tell none of it was for, like, I've never heard anyone like talk shit about you or like be selfish. But I was like, I knew, because like it was very similar. I'm like, people who have that same vision, it may have like a different vehicle, you know, like yours is a Ferrari, mine's a Lamborghini, you know, like they're all different, but the goal is still the same, to get to the point where you can, you know, breathe a little bit. You don't have to worry about like, how's this going to cost? What am I going to do? I can't do this. And then be able to give back to communities. Like I've been working like on the Poncho's Blanket, like Jonathan came in and he does outreach for like the homeless in Kansas City that's growing. And like, I'm looking at programs for underprivileged kids in Kansas City. And I'm like, eventually these programs and things that I put in place through this room will not just be a room. It'll be a building. And then that building will then be able to give back. And then those people will have chances that they never thought they would have before. But you have to be that selfish.
Yeah.
And most of that comes with relationships. Like I was talking to Lucas, and like his wife, I laugh. I was rewatching it, and I was like, I'm a goober. Like it's so dumb. But I was like, you have a great relationship with your wife. She pushes you, motivates you. Maybe you don't feel like going to the gym. She's like, what about your goal? What about UFC goal? He's like, you're right. Like even when you kind of want to step out a little, it's like you need someone to be there to like support you with it in not in selfish activity, but knowing that it's going to be selfish at first and that this is going to be just the priority, but ultimately you're going to have a lot more options after. And I was like, does she have a sister? I was like, and he goes, yeah, but she's in Brazil. And I was like, I wasn't serious, but is she coming up? Like, because that's the one thing that I find that, fighters struggle with the most is like, yeah, of course, no offense to you ladies out there, but they're like, ooh, I'm dating a fighter. And you're they're like, but you don't know what the fuck it actually takes. For someone who's, you know what I'm saying? I can see
honestly,
that.
Honestly, to be real, I don't really care for all these women, man, because nowadays they're too selfish. To be honest, it's all about me.
Yeah.
What can you do for me? And if you girls watch this, I don't really care how you feel about this because I'm right.
Well, at least you know all the DMs are gonna be filtered.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm not a perfect person either.
Right.
I mean, I'm never gonna say I'm better than someone or perfect, but I'm always a little too honest.
Yeah.
Where it comes out like I'm an asshole, and
you're weeding out you're taking the
and
weeds
honestly,
out.
I feel like social media has made girls how they are. I mean, they think they can do whatever they want. They don't really care how us men feel, and it goes the same way for guys. There's guys out there doing the same thing some of these girls are doing. So it's not always on the guys either. So I think it's just going back and forth, and I think it's just more open than it has been. And that's why, like, don't get me wrong, I'm talking to a couple girls right now, but they're not my biggest priority.
Yeah.
Like, to be honest, like, I've had time to mature mentally. Honestly, I've had time to mature with women because now, like, as open they are, they don't really care. And I'm not gonna say not all of them don't care, but I would say a good 90% of them, it's all about me.
Oh, for sure.
Just because social media has ruined all of them. Like, you see what
that sentence,
they have
bro.
to, yeah. So like, that's why I was like, why waste my time on you? Like, until I've run into a girl that shows me the same energy back, I'm not wasting my time. Like, I've done that where I've wasted my time.
Yeah, right there with you. I got to turn them all down. You know what I'm saying? They all coming at me with this flamingo shirt. And,
they probably do. I mean, that's a dope shirt.
I had to flare it up for you. You know what I'm saying? Like you got a certain style in the cage, and I was like, I gotta wear my flamingo shirt today.
I don't know if I have a style. Look at me. I'm in a hoodie and
no, it's a style. I was like, damn, nice shoes.
Sweats. Like, I mean,
well, that's the thing too. You're smart enough to know that now. So like, if you like, so when you, because I don't like to use like words that contradict myself. So I don't want to say like if I do this or if I do that, because then you're putting that in your head. So every time, like when this room does everything that I have planned and accomplished for this 5 to 10 year thing, which it will, just like you will have your 5 to 10 year plan, you'll have the money, you have the UFC, take care of your family. That lesson of relationships, you won't have to fuck with that later when you actually have like big hype. You know what I'm saying? Because then you're gonna have like, no offense to the ladies he's talking to, but like you're not Megan Fox. You know what I'm saying? So like when people, and I'm not saying she's an asshole, I'm just saying that like she's gorgeous. So like the level is changing as you change. So does the level of like the women that come around. And so now you can, with your mountain of cash and your family taken care of, you can be like, you don't have the same energy. You know what I'm saying? That's why I like Michael Chandler, who's an awesome, like, good wrestling background, and his wife, like, their relationship is tight. So, like, shit like that is very hard to find.
It is nowadays. It is, man. And it's funny, one of my best friends, his name's Centres, I still talk to him about, like, venting about women, and he would just tell me, like, don't waste your time on them right now, man. Like, he would always tell me, like, you have a good thing going on right now. It's like, one day you're going to be famous. And just like what you said, money, cash, supporting your family, you said, by then you're not even going to care. You know what I mean? It's going to be whatever, you know? And I thank him for that, because he's definitely helped me through a lot, man. Because, like, you know, I would say everybody, not everybody, but I feel like a lot of us guys out here, yeah, we do want someone we can obviously grow old with. Maybe not right now,
Right.
but maybe towards the end of the road. Because like, I feel like men and women, they have a time in their life where they're gonna party, man.
Yeah.
Like they just need to get that all out. Like, and some of them never do. Like,
Yeah.
and there's some of them that they party so much, then a couple years later, you see them married with 3 kids. You're like, whoa, wow.
Well,
like,
oh man, you were crazy back in the day.
I'm about to say back in the day. I remember you were
my
crazy.
toxic girlfriend back in the day.
Yeah, I'm about to say, yeah. And then it's just like, it's crazy how life can change, man. So I try not to bash on women too much because I know there's guys out there doing the same thing. So I literally try to I try to stay clear, honestly. I just try to focus on what I'm doing now, man, because, I mean, yeah, having tons of money and women talking to me, and yes, it'll probably keep growing as if I keep being more successful, well, I will.
Yeah, when you become
but it's not, I don't care about like the Megan Foxes or Beyonce, man. It's about finding the right woman.
Right,
You know
exactly.
what I mean? The one I can come home to with, the one I know, like, that's not crazy. It's not going to take my money from me, or, you know what I mean? Like, I don't, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I think since then I've matured a lot, man. Just with competing, relationships, like the way I look at life now, like I only worry about myself.
Yeah.
Like, just because everybody is, man, it's all about me, me, me. So if everyone wants to be me, 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 I'm thinking about me as well. You know, I got to think what's best for me and my family. Like me, going out partying or chasing women that aren't giving me the same energy, or smoking and all that, it doesn't help me. It just pushes my career further back, and it might ruin my career.
Well, what are they showing you? You know what I'm saying? They're showing you that they don't even have the capacity to do that in the long term anyways. You know what I'm saying? And like my sister was in here and we did an episode and she was saying the same thing. Like, you know, she'll go out and like she'll have I don't know why they think it works, but they're like, oh, I work in finance and I got a Tesla, and they just like going through their achievements, and I'm like, if you were a strong dude, you wouldn't even say that. Yeah. You would just be you and know what you got. You know? It's a whole different level of insecurity amongst like both sides.
Oh no, I agree.
And the worst part is when those two insecurities like hook up, and then you're like, we're married now, and you're like, oh shit, no one leveled up. No, like this is not gonna go very well.
No, yeah. And it's just like I said, man, it's too much of this world is guys and women. It's all about me. Yeah. What can you do for me? Like, I don't care how you feel. What can you do for me?
Well, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to, as much as I can, I'm going to blast that shit out loud. I'm going to be like, listen, and he wants to give back to the community, right? He wants to support his whole family. Like, he doesn't care what you think. Like, that's the same.
I really don't care what anyone thinks, honestly.
It's universally the same.
I think sometimes my mouth gets me in trouble because I always have to have the last word. Honestly, to be for real. In class? I really don't, like, care at all. Like, I've butt heads with Trey, man, and Trey's my coach. That's my dude. But I don't, like, have a filter, man. Like, and like I said, like, you kind of, I feel like everybody has to have an edge to them, man. And definitely when you're doing, and definitely being a athlete and all that, you have to have an edge to you. You have to have some type of swag about you, man. Because there's real people out there that really want to do it, and there's a lot of pretenders out there that just want to go through the motions. And I'm trying to think what it is. Jordan Burroughs said this the best, man. And he's a wrestler, USA wrestler, man. Freaking dog, man. From Nebraska.
Is he the big dude?
Yeah.
Big dude?
Jordan Burroughs, yeah. JB, king of wrestling, bro. Yep. I don't care what anyone says. He's the best wrestler. He said, winners only can win once. Champions can win more than once in any situation. Yep. There's too many winners out here. And I got that from JB. It came from JB, you know? And I usually follow him a lot because he's just a good dude to follow, man. Like, just the way he carries himself after losing. Like, he never has a bad taste in his mouth. It is what it is. Like, he just, like, I think a lot of people, when they lose, a lot of people watch your character, how you lose more than you win. Right. And the way he carries himself, and just, like, it's just, like, how can you not like him, man? Like, he's, like, one of the best wrestlers in the world, man. And I usually follow everything he says. So, and I take that mentality with me, man. Like, there's a lot of people can win, but like I said, winners only can win once. Like, champions can win no matter what the situation is. It doesn't matter even if you're losing, they champions come back and find a way to win, man.
Exactly.
That's the difference between a champion and a winner.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of
Pretenders.
in this sport, there's a lot of winners in this sport. They only know how to win once, and then when it gets hard, a lot of them break, man.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing why I thank God and my mom and dad for allowing me to wrestle, because it made me a man, and it's made me realize like the grind. There is no harder sport than wrestling. I'm gonna be honest. There is no
I fully believe that
harder sport, man. Like, and that's why like if you like done hard things, nothing compares to wrestling. I'm sorry, man. Like the thing wrestling gives you, it gives you the mentality to grind like no other. It gives you the mentality to run circles around people. It puts you in uncomfortable situations where you want to break every day. And a lot of people can't handle that. A lot of people can't handle wrestling. A lot of people can't handle the weight cutting and then going up and wrestle like 20 matches the next, like in like 5 hours. Like that's not a long time. Like it's even less than that. Sometimes you have to wrestle in like 4 minutes after when you were overweight and you got to go wrestle 30 matches. Like it's crazy. Like people don't like really realize how wrestling, like for me and for people who do MMA, people don't really realize wrestling gives you a 90% advantage over your opponents, man.
Well, and like I think the it's not, and it is because of the skill that's acquired from wrestling. Yeah. Because, like I said, 2 things from
I would say it's
wrestlers.
more the mentality, man. It's the mentality, man. And a lot of people aren't mentally tough, man.
It's like you
like,
can't
I can
break
read,
me.
Like me, I can read people. Like when I'm in fights, I can tell if it's going to be a tough fight or not, man. Just because I've been in those tough situations since I was like 4. Did 6 years of college of wrestling. Should have gotten D1 to Nebraska. Didn't have the grades. Didn't really care about school. I still don't care about school. But like, I can, since I've been doing this so long, man, I can tell when I can break someone, and I can tell like, oh, dang, this might be one I'm gonna have to work for, man. And it's wrestling's a big blessing, man. I mean, it's, people don't understand, like, it's the mental grind of it is crazy, man. Like,
you want to be the king of uncomfortable situations because you're comfortable in it. You know what I'm saying? Because then you're like, nothing will break me. Like nothing will. And it's like, if you know, like every day, I forget exactly, I think it's 300 million, like when you wake up, you have 300 million like cells in your brain, like brain cells ready to go. And so they were like, now they're finding out, like when you wake up, like you should like either read or like watch something to like push your goal. But the minute people go on like social media, like you follow all these guys who push you in the sport. People don't have that. They get up and they're like, oh, I don't know why this is. Oh, Angela White posted something. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm never going to get a girl. And it immediately programs these cells to think different. And so I'm like, over a span of time, if you say that enough, nothing will break you, even in the worst situation. And then when you have that, which is like the background you have, plus someone who's like Trey, who's a technician. Like I watched you submit with that Kimura. You know what I'm saying? Was that your last fight? Yeah. Yeah, I was like, he's doing it. Like he's perfecting MMA. You know, like because I mean, throughout the fights that you had, it's like, oh, we're a really good wrestler and this and that, and I'm like, sure, but like, look what he did to this guy. You know, he's a pro now. Yeah. Like, and he submitted this dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a big deal. Like, you're developing on a level that people cannot keep up with, and I think it's because you're,
like you said, I think it's on a fast level too, and that's another thing from wrestling. Like, you're so used to repetition. You do the same thing over and over. MMA is the same thing to me. It's just repetition. And working with Trey, I've gotten like 50 times better on my jiu-jitsu. Like, it's crazy. Like, I didn't know anything when I went to Trey. Like, I only knew a few things, but like Trey's helped me out a lot, man. I'm very thankful for Trey. Like, even work with me too, because I know I'm a pain in the ass to work with, man. Like, just like I said, like I'm pretty stubborn, man. Like, I'm a pretty stubborn dude. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
he's a good guy to get through the stubborn.
Yeah, and Trey, like Trey's stubborn too. But I'm very thankful for him to be my coach, man, because there's only a handful of people like I really trust and I really like want in my corner. And like I would say it's like Trey Ogden, Chad Parks, Jeff Albers, Mikey Breeden, and Mikey England.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple other ones, but like those are the ones I could name off my head that I would want in my corner, because I need to have someone like that knows what they're talking about, man.
Yeah.
Because like I get a lot of people out here, like I said, there's a lot of people that they want to know what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I think there's a lot of guys want to fit in, and they want to be around success, and they try to fit in.
Yeah. Let me squeeze in here.
Yeah, and you get a lot of them like that, and there's some of them like, you know what I mean? Like it's like high school all over again. You know what I mean?
It is.
You see that cool group, you want to be around them, but I had to pull back my reins, because I think I get too much of my wrestling mentality. And I'll be like, man, that dude, I was like, he's a baby. Like, what is he doing? Like, I'm like, bro, why are you breaking? Like, it's not even, to me, like, I'm so used to being that comfortable situation where you just grind it out. And I look around, I see some people who will break in practice. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, just practice. 2 minutes ago, you were just having a conversation with someone and you skipped one round of, like, when we're sparring. Yeah. Like, there's people who skip rounds to have conversation, then come back and they'll be tired and they won't want to do it. And, like, to me, it's like, what? I was like, why are you being such a
you're
putty
like
cat?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, it's just like
that happens that quite often.
I get irritated when I see that, but I had to remind myself, not everybody has that aggressive desire to compete and hit the high levels of being on a professional level. You know, some people just like to do it for fun, you know.
Well, sometimes you have to realize they're just winners.
Yeah, just winners, man. And it's just like, and I don't want to get irritated when people like, the only thing that irritates me when people talk a big game,
mm-hmm.
and they do it so much to the point where it's just like, dude, you skip rounds in practice, like, and you see like me or Zach Ogden or Trey, Ogden, or
never miss.
Even Gomi, like, never miss a round. Like, there's more people. Obviously, I can't think of everybody at our gym, because I only talk to half the people in there.
Right.
I might not even talk to half the people in there. I mean, I only have a little group of people I talk to in general, and that's how I am in general. Like, don't get me wrong, I have tons of people know who I am. Like, that's a no-brainer. Just because there's a lot of people who know who I am doesn't mean I talk to them.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, you know, I usually stick to myself. Like, if I'm not at the gym, I'm out working out at the lake, running 7 miles, like, doing my own thing, which I like to just do my own thing. Honestly, like I said, I love people, but I also hate people. Like, I like to be by myself, man. If I can, like I said, if I could buy an island and have a mansion on an island, I would.
Well, it's really tough when you have, because the same thing happened to me. Like, I remember I started doing some of this and posting it and doing whatever, like, early on. And my phone went crazy. They're like, what? Oh, my gosh. I'm like, dude, I haven't talked to you in, like, years. Like, you're trying to hop on before it's something. And, well, one, that's irritating as shit. Stop doing that. And two, it's like, just because that's not what I live for. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not doing it because of, like, yeah, those high school people who, like, call me the nerd kid, whatever. Like, I'm not here for you. I'm here for the bigger things outside of that. Yeah. So it's really tough to even allow people, not necessarily on the phone, but like even at the gym or outside, to like try and talk. You're like, it's like the detector of bullshit goes. Like, you're like, I can't. It's gonna.
No, yeah.
I'm gonna go red right now.
Yeah. There's,
you know,
there's a lot of it. Yeah, there's a lot of people like. You have your real friends and then you have your fake friends. That's what I always say, man. A lot of those were never. I have a lot of them. Like, there's some I talk to and there's some I don't talk to that try to talk to me, and it's just like, I mean, I'm never a rude person. Like, I'll conversate with you a little bit, but it's not like I hang out with you on the daily or anything. So at the end of the day, we're really not friends. You know, we're just kind of It's like it's almost like a business. Like, I talk to you, say, hey, drink my coffee, how you doing, and then kind of go on with my business and with my life. I mean,
you're making me nervous. Are you talking about me?
No.
I'm a friend.
We're cool.
All right.
I mean, we are
That's
friends.
on record. That's on
record. We
record.
are friends.
For sure.
If we were not friends, I would not be here right now.
Oh yeah.
To be honest, like, I would have opened your message and never got back to you. I wouldn't even, I wouldn't even go on my way. I wouldn't even double heart it. I wouldn't even double heart it. That's what I'm saying. Like, I would really just not even like, I would open it and be like, oh, dang, like, yeah, maybe next time I'll be there and never show up.
Yeah.
Like, that's who I am. Like, and that's like, and I'll say, I'll consider you as one of my friends. Like I said.
Well, we've also established the relationship in the gym, and like, there's a similar, like I said, the vehicle may be different. And I had to learn that too. Like, sometimes there's a difference between desiring something and then desiring something so bad that you're going to sacrifice for it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are like, oh, I want, or I could do, I wish I could do. And I'm like, guess what? You can.
Yeah.
You just have to switch to this category and do it. And, most of that comes through, another good thing I heard was like, it's never linear to success. It's always like, there's always obstacles in the way.
Yeah.
And so most of those are like fuck ups and failures and shit along the way, family issues, baby mama drama, any of that kind of stuff. But you're like, you have to be so crazy narrow focused that it doesn't even phase you. Just like the people who are trying to sneak in. Like, it can't let you get into that headspace, or else you're already doomed anyways. And most people don't have something like, they don't have any barrier around protecting that, like, themselves, and they have no clue. And I'm like, what do you plan to do? Like, what are you doing with this one thing you get? You get one life, Like, the chances of existing is like 1 in 400 trillion. Like, it's, you won the lottery like 90,000 times. Like, do something with it. Like, anybody can. You just have to have something super tough and an attitude about the success. And so, like, sure, everyone knows who Nick Meck is. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But they don't know, like, shit we're talking about right now.
No, they don't. And they'll probably never know, honestly. Just because people live in their own little bubbles, man. Yeah. Like I said, everyone has their own little island they live on, man. And some people can't handle, like, the real reality.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about, like, there's winners and there's champions. Like, winners live in their own little reality, thinking they know that one day they'll get in the UFC or something, but they don't put the work in to get there.
Nope.
They don't put the extra work in. They don't mentally prepare themselves. I mean, a lot of it's just all talk. I've been around that. I've been around people that would just talk, and I would hear stories. They've been in that same position for like 4 years before I even met them.
Yeah.
And they've been training that long to get to where the destination they want to get to. And like, they're still at the bottom of the ship.
Well,
like, they haven't done anything. Like, it's still, they do the same routine. Like, they just don't take their regiment serious. They think they do.
Yeah.
Like, they think they
lie to themselves.
Yeah, they're about to say they lie. They're technically lying to themselves. And it's just like, yeah, I'm going to be there one day. But you're not going to be there one day if you're smoking weed, partying, don't know how to handle your time management well. Like, and I've been around that. I've been around people like that. And I've had people tell me, a lot of people like that stay here. And then there's people like me just starting out will surpass those people while they're still down here. And the crazy thing is, a lot of those people have been doing it longer than I have.
Yeah.
Like, even this fight game, there's people who have been training their whole lives and they're still right here.
Yeah.
And then I only been doing this for like maybe like 3 to maybe 4 years now.
It's insane to me, dude.
Yeah. And then now they're right here and I'm like up here.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, isn't that crazy? Like,
not really. Not that I've talked to you like this. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It just seems like that's where it's supposed to go.
But a lot of it's just having your priorities straight. A lot of those people who are down here that should be here or should be in the UFC or whatever. And this doesn't even go for just fighting. This is just being an athlete in general. People who are down here, like you said, they think they know what they're doing. They really don't. They really don't take the competitive side serious, which is okay. Yeah. It's okay. But the only time I get irritated about that, you want to be really serious, but you're not doing anything to change it.
Right, exactly.
That's the only time I get irritated, like when people will say that or post stuff. But then you have people who just like to talk and they're just doing it for fun. You know what I mean? There's a fair balance. The only one I get mad at is when they're trying to be really serious and they're acting real serious. But it's like, dude, you're not doing anything to like put yourself in better positions.
Well, don't even get in the cage if you're doing it for fun. Like, don't do it. Like, don't be like, I mean, no offense, I'm not in the cage, but like.
But I mean, I feel like you can do it for fun. There's nothing wrong with it. But like,
There's an element to
that's
fun.
what I'm saying. Like, obviously, if you're just doing fun, stay as an amateur. Like, you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
I
Stay
get
as
it.
an amateur. Like, just in general. Like, and it's not even about fighting. Like, even if you're a competitor, female and male, like, if you like doing your sports for fun, being around your friends, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with doing that. There's nothing wrong. But if you really trying to be serious and go to the next level, and when you talk like you want to get to the next level and you're really, really acting that way all the time, that's when I get irritated, because it's like you're not doing anything to make you better. You're not putting in extra hours to make you better.
Right.
Like, you're not, you know what I mean? You're out here partying and smoking, or, you know, sticking to the lazy regimen is keeping you right here. That's the only time I have a problem with it, man.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's really tough because, like you said, they lie to themselves. Then they believe that lie because they said it over and over again every day. So I like to imagine, like, in order to create something through failure to get to what you want, it's like, I call it like the mirror method. Like, if you can't walk past like a mirror and you're looking at yourself honestly, like, you would say, why'd I lose that fight? You would be able to be like, oh, you wouldn't blame it on the fight camp, or I was really, that weight cut was really bad. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of excuses, man.
You'd be like, oh, in the second round, I gave up that position. I need to work on jujitsu, and you know what I mean? You have to look at it at a honest perspective on all areas of life. But most people would just walk by the mirror, be like, yeah, UFC one day, but they don't break it down as to why.
They don't break it down to a science, man. And that's and it's funny you say that. You said give up a takedown or something, or you get in a scramble. A lot of that's just mental too, man. Like, I've done this for so long, and I think that's the beauty of wrestling, man. You see people break all the time. Like, when it gets tough, someone will either break or they won't break, and it makes it a really fun match to watch.
Yeah.
And just watching MMA, there's a lot of people who break, man, because they're not used to that mental being pushed in those type of situations where you're just like, man, this guy won't stop. And
Volkanovski is my example for that, dude.
And there's some people who have never been in those situations, and you'd be surprised how them break. You know what I mean? And that's what. And a lot of it's just. I feel like sports is just a mentality, man. Like, if you're gonna go out there and compete and you want to win, you will win. If you don't want to win, you're gonna lose. Like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, everybody has an opportunity to win. It doesn't matter when you're fighting. It doesn't matter when you go play football. It doesn't matter, like softball. It doesn't matter. You have an opportunity to win. It's the biggest question is what are you going to do about it? Well,
yeah, it's the same thing. It's like, life is the decision. Like, life is the exact same way with a fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone has that same chance to do it, but it's really easy. And this is a myth, but ostriches don't shove their head in the sand. You know what I'm saying? That's
I never even heard of that.
No. So what happened is, like, people were walking through and they were like, oh, look, they were like eating from the ground, but they were so tall. They were like, oh, their heads are in the sand.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Anyway, but what I'm saying is most people are like that.
Yeah.
And they're cool with that because that's easier to believe than, like, actually looking at where they're at in the situation. Yeah. They're like, oh, shit, like, there's lions over there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. They're like, I'll just ignore it until I'm like,
yeah.
Or like, you know, on deathbed, and they're like, I regret. I wish I would have. But like, you're not gonna have any of that shit because you're doing the right thing mentally to do so.
And that's why. And for this camp, for any camps like I do for fighting, I try to break myself every camp, man. I try to not leave anything unturned. Like, I'm always doing extra. Some days I have to take a day off just because sometimes I'm doing 2 to 3 days where I'm doing more extra workouts than I do when I go to practice.
Yeah.
And sometimes I need to take a day off just because that wears and tears on your body. And but that's just how bad I want to win, man. I know a lot of people won't do what I want, like do what I do, man. Like, you don't see, and I ain't gonna lie, I'm kind of bragging on myself. Like, this is probably a little bit of conceit coming out of me.
Well, that's good. If they made it this far, then they like you anyways. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I guess I don't really care if you like me or not, but
hell yeah.
Yeah, like I said, there's no one who runs 7 miles in the mouthpiece in. Like, who can even make the 4 miles of running that 7 mile? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. And then on top of that, I hit like 7 sprints after when I'm done with my 7 mile. So like, that little stuff, like, people don't understand. Like, and you don't have to run 7 miles like me. I tell a lot of people, like, oh, I might do that. And it's like, it's the consistency of doing it. Yeah. Like, it's the consistency. Like, that's something I like to do. I like to run. Yeah. I like to put some headphones on. I like to be outside when it's like 85 degrees. Like, now, like 60. I like to go for a run. I like the scenery. I like it. It is my running is my temple, man. Like I
Yeah.
like running. And that's why I tell people, and it's like you don't even have to run 7 miles like me. That's something I do.
Mm-hmm.
I say you could, as long as you like, you can run 3 miles,
Mm-hmm.
but it's the consistency of doing it every day.
Well, tell me how many fighters cardio quit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
At least in your mind, like I had, like Ty was talking to me, and he's like, dude, I could, like, I take cold showers. Like I don't drink anything with flavor until like the evening when I have one, like, not like a Gatorade, but like something like a bubbly water or something. He's like, and I share that just for with my daughter and with my girlfriend. You know, I'm like, people don't do that. They ask me to go eat. I'm like, I can't eat that. Like I got a diet to stick to. I got weight coming up. Like if I can't. And he calls it his daily dose of venom. And I was like, if you do shit like that every day, that like, for me, it looks like a Jenga block. You know,
yeah,
like so eventually, like you'll remove like this other piece, and you're like, oh, I've unlocked a new higher level.
yeah.
Like as you do those hard things, and then it just becomes easier, and then that could be used as a skill set in a career. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can take that with you, man. And
Yeah,
that's
no,
what, yeah.
nothing stops you.
No, it doesn't. I mean, the only one that stops you is yourself, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, and that's what I said like before. Like this camp, I try to kill myself, man. And everybody knows like I like to work out, man. Like I think I might be a workaholic.
Yeah.
And I like working out, man. Like it makes me feel good. That's my coffee in the morning, man.
Yeah.
That's my Starbucks. Like I like working out. Like I like hitting 7-mile runs to get started. Like and then I like to go lift some weights while I'm outside. Obviously go to practice. And then after practice, I like to go hit another little small run, man. Like I like to do, for me, when I hit extra stuff after my practices, and once it starts getting warmer, I'll start doing more. I like doing extra stuff like that because that gets me that gives me the confidence before my fight. Like I put all the work in. There's no regrets, no stones unturned. Like I like having that feeling that I can't breathe or someone has to help me up. I like that feeling.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like that.
No.
Like a lot of people don't like feeling that uncomfortable. I do, because in a real, I prepare myself for a real fight. Like I'm getting in a real fight. Like this dude could break my nose. My nose could go in my face.
Yeah.
So everything I do, I prepare for a real fight. Like, and I think that's the biggest thing I want to point out. Like a lot of people don't prepare themselves like that, man. Like you should prepare yourself for like a 5-round title fight.
Yeah.
Like I do that for every one of the fights I've been into. I've prepared myself for a 5-round title fight. Like I mentally will try to kill myself. Like and if you haven't seen me train before, like you thinking running 7 miles is like something to me. That's me waking up in the morning drinking coffee. Like that's not even the start of my workout. Like, and like I said, I thank wrestling for everything. I think it's made me a little crazy. Honestly, I'm just working out.
I mean, no offense, but
mentally,
all wrestlers are
a
nuts.
little,
Because, and I say nuts, like I said, it's really good to be called crazy. I'm not going to lie to you. Because they're like, why are you? Because I'm like, oh, yeah, I work Monday through Friday. I'm there 8 to 5. And then I'm in here till like 11 o'clock, midnight. And then I go home and go to sleep. And they're like, why? I'm like, because I want to.
Yeah.
And they're like, it like doesn't hit their brain goes like it immediately shifts into a place. They're like, that's a lot of work. I'm like, yeah, but like enjoy wherever you're at. You know what I'm saying? You know, if you're okay with that, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want, you know, if you talk the game, like
if you want the bigger things of life, if you want to smell the roses at the end of the tunnel, like I feel like you should be serious the way you talk. If you don't want to smell the roses and the riches and all the good stuff at the end of the tunnel, just walk the other way, man. Just walk the other way, because to get to all that, man, like, I mean, you have to be all in, man. Like we're talking about, like you need to have a lot of discipline, a lot of just being mentally right and knowing what you want, man.
Yeah.
Like I said before, like if you really want to be a champion one day, well, you got to think about it. There's like 50,000 other people who want to be champions. So you got to do things they're not doing. You obviously got to push yourself harder in practice when the time comes, like when you have a fight. Because like to me, everything, like, yes, it's a marathon, but to me, it's a dead sprint, man. It's a freaking dead sprint, man. Like I'm sprinting as hard as I can. Like and the way I think things, that's when I'm by myself too. When I'm running, I always think there's someone right by me.
Yeah.
And I think there's someone right by me on the other side, man. So like that makes me run even harder.
Yep.
Which it might make me look a little crazy too, because it's just
No,
like
you're
that's
fine.
the way I think, man. Like I really do think like that. Like when I'm like training by myself or shadow boxing, like I'll look over and I'll think there's someone doing the same thing. So it makes me want to go a little faster,
Yeah.
a little harder, like and
Well, you're just envisioning the same, like
Yeah.
someone like you somewhere else
Yeah.
doing the same thing. You're just putting that person next to you.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck that dude. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's that's also like a part of that mentality of crazy.
Yeah.
Because you're like, no one's there. You're like, yeah, they are.
Yeah,
Because
they are.
you're imagining
In
that
my
someone
head,
in
they
a
are.
it's someone in a state over who's like
Yeah.
same record or like doing the same thing some regionally somewhere else, and you're like, not like me though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I take big pride on that, man. That's
Mhm.
what I said. Like, I don't, like I said, when it's time to get serious, I'm pretty serious, man. And there's obviously been to our gym. I mean, like you said, there's athletes out there, like, when it's time to get serious, they're like half in and half out.
Yeah.
It's just like you're either in or you're either not, or you just stay where you're at.
You can't
You
be
know?
half in that octagon.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Unless you just want to be an amateur.
Yeah,
the rest
well,
of
at
your
your
life. I
at
mean,
your
there's nothing wrong
level,
with that.
yeah, at the pro level, there's
Yeah.
nothing. It's no half in. You know?
No, yeah. I mean, that's just how I am. I mean, there's no half in, half out. Like,
No.
you're all the way in. Like me, I'm all the way in. I'm probably trying to run off the edge of the mountain. Like I'm all the way in.
Yeah.
There's people like, oh, I think I'm not gonna climb the mountain. I think I'm gonna stay here and just be on the bottom of the mountain.
I like down here picking these strawberries.
Yeah,
and
I
who's
like
the
it
guy
down
running
here.
up the hill with the headphones and
Yeah,
doing?
see, yeah, that's yeah.
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
It. I mean,
Well, and like, it's perfect to like say this again, but like, the scariest thing for me was, like, I've just been mentally different from, like, obviously I don't know how your family is, but like, you know, they were content with doing their thing, working their job, and then coming home and like watching the news and doing TV and like maybe a little side stuff. But I'm like, I can't do that. Like, I can't go to sleep at night knowing I didn't do something that I will regret later. And you won't have any regret. And like, you know, regret, and so like achievement takes hard work, but regret also takes hard work because, like we said, you have to lie to yourself about it. No, that's fine. And so regret is the thing that weighs like pounds, but the weight of hard work, it's in ounces. You know what I'm saying? It's still weight, but it's like you get to pick where you want what you want.
No, I agree. I think your regret
Go ahead.
outweighs your success, man. Because when you lose, you're like, dang, I could have done something else. Like, even though you could have won that, let's say you won that match before, but you lose your next one, you're like, dang, like you're thinking about that loss more than that win. Because you're like, man, I could have taken him down one more time in practice. I could have hit 2 more sprints, man. Like, and that's again, like I said, I try to not have any regrets. I try to shut the door completely, man. I don't try to leave a crack in the door, man, because I literally try to shut the door where I'm trying to break the door where I know I don't have anything else I can do, man. Like,
yeah, you're minimizing that.
My last fight, I told Trey, on a Saturday, we were rolling live, and he asked me if I was okay. I was like, yeah. Like, he said, you seem tired. I was like, I'm tired from watching my weight, but I'm like, I'm in really, really, really good shape. I was to the point where I couldn't punch through the wall. You know what I mean? I couldn't punch through the roof anymore. Like, my shape was so good. Like, I could probably run 20 miles around the whole building itself. Like, I was to the point where, like, I can't go any higher than where I am. Like, to the point where I would almost, like, probably hurt myself. Like, there's no more I can do. Like, right now, that's how I feel right now. Like, I don't know what else I can really do except obviously keep working out every day, but keep it to a chill point. But, like, I like to keep working out closer we get to the fights, man. Like, obviously, I'm not going to go, like, spar or anything, but when I have these days to do stuff on my own, I take full advantage of it because I know my opponent is not doing the same thing. He might be just doing walkthroughs where it's just laid back, like, and I try to do what he's not doing. I'm trying to hit some maybe extra sprints, something that gets me breathing hard, like, because all these little things add up. Like, they all add up. Like, people, and that's another thing. I don't think athletes really understand, just in general, all these little things add up towards the end.
Well,
like,
so do the things that you miss.
Yeah. And that's like, even if we're grappling in practice, like when you take a round or 2 off, that adds up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like,
You
that will show.
You missed 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, that's 5 minutes that you could have better cardio than the guy you're fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people, athletes, and fighters, and just in general, they don't really think about that. They don't really think about it. They just think like, I'm tired, I'm ready to go home. Well, dude, shit, we're all ready to go home.
Yeah,
like,
we're all tired.
There's one dude I practiced. I remember. I'm not gonna give any names, but I definitely like it was me and Zach was dying, man. Which he had every right, man. That dude was cutting weight. Like, when you're cutting weight, that's different. Like, obviously you're gonna fatigue faster and cutting weight.
Yeah,
that's different. There was one dude that, like, I remember he was gassing, and it was just like, dude, like, dude's cool, man. He's a cool dude, man. And no disrespect to him like that. It's just like, dude, like, we're all dying here, though. Like, the example of it is we're all dying here. Like, and I found out, like, that same 3 days when I got sick before that fight with a head cold, I had to cut down to 170 because my guy backed out. Yeah. So think how I felt, man. I was weighing like 95. You know what I mean? Like, bro, to me, there's no excuses, bro. Like, there's no reason why you should take 2 rounds off. There's no reason why you should be talking to other people. Like, stuff like that irritates me. And I'm like, bro, I found out I found out like that Sunday where I still had to make weight. Like, I had, so Sundays.
Are you telling me you had
I only had like 3 or 4 days to make weight. Like,
fuck off.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, and bro, it's like, to me, that's no excuse. Like, I was weighing about 94, 95 when I found out, like, hey, your guy pulled out. You're gonna have to fight at 70. So, you know, and I was in bed sick. Like, I took 2 days off because I was sick. Yeah. Like, so I'm literally laid up in my bed and I'm weighing about almost 94, 95. And they're like, hey, you gotta cut weight. Guess how I'm feeling? Like, I can't breathe. Right. There's snot. Like, I can't, like, I literally had a cold. And I'm like, dude, it sucks. Like, and I still made weight. I still made weight and still won. Like, there's no excuse, man. If I can be half dead, laying in my bed for like 2 to 3 days with a cold and still make weight and go out and compete, there's no excuse. Like, you can't finish all your rounds. Right. For sure. And that's just how I am. I guess just mentally, that's just because of wrestling. That's how I am. So sometimes I have to pull the reins back. But, like, to me, there's, like, that's why I never really say anything. I try not to get on people. And I try to keep my thoughts to myself. And I just go home and vent to my mom. Yeah. It's just like, I was like, why is everybody pussies? Like, I just get so mad. And my mom, like, has to remind me, like, not everybody's like you. Not everybody has been through 6 years of college of wrestling and wrestling their whole life where you've been through that mental tough grind. And she's like, you got to remember, there's not a lot of people who are mentally that tough like you. So you need to remember we're all different. So good mom. Yeah, my mom's awesome, man. But still, I think.
Sweet. When you come in next time, just bring her too. I'll be like, hey, Miss Meck.
I don't need to bring her in.
No. But no, I always, that was always a big thing for you. Was like, I remember you always talking really good about your mom.
I love my mom, man. I love my mom. I love my dad. I love my brothers. I love my family, man. Like, and I think that's another biggest reason I love competing, man. Like, my mom and my dad mean so much to me because they've done a lot for me. And I think sometimes people forget, like, I was adopted. So, like,
I was going to ask that, yeah.
I was adopted. So, like, when I was like 4 or 5, I was adopted. And if it wasn't there, if they did not adopt me, I would probably be in jail right now because I had, like, really bad anger issues as a kid growing up. And I had, like, a lot of like, trying to figure myself out who I was. And, like, I would get into a lot of fights. And, like, I just had a lot of bad anger issues. Like, I still get, like, angry nowadays, but I'm more mature about it. Like, I don't get mad. Like, obviously, I'm a lot chill now. Like, I would get in fights. I was always in the office in elementary school. Like, I try to run away from school. Like, it was crazy. Like, I was a bad kid, just with a lot of, like, angry and mental issues.
And they loved you through it, which was huge.
And they've done, like, I feel like as a parenting, they've done their best they can, like, when they adopted me. And I feel like for me to compete and see my mom smile, my dad and my family being there, that means the world to me. And that means the world to me more than money itself, man. Yeah. Like, I think, I think that's why I feel like I have the success I do while competing, because it's, like I said, it's not a selfish reason to me what I want to achieve for my family, because I want to give my mom and dad everything they deserve, because they spent hours of taking me to wrestling tournaments. That's tons of money, man. Like, I'm traveling everywhere, and I thank them a lot for doing that for me. and they tons of hours of waking up like 7 in the morning, taking me to tournaments, and I thank them for everything they do. And this would be I feel like the only way I could give back to them, and I think that's the biggest way I'm giving back right now because they love watching me compete. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and my whole family, everybody in my sports played family. My sister, my older brothers, everybody played family. Like my whole family, we all played sports. There's
Yeah.
no like you either worked or you played sports, and we all played sports. So it kept us
Well,
out of
the
troubles.
DNA makeup checks out. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'm like, and that's I always heard that too. They were like, so like when, let's say mental checkout, right? So like, you are a wrestler since you were little, right? You have jujitsu, and I remember it was like, fuck me, like you're like, you want to spar? And I'm like, and I was like this. I immediately my brain goes, no. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah.
no. What am I gonna do? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then it was like, I go, yeah, and like it's fine, but I'm like, I have to. He weighs like the average of most people, so I'm like, if I can move, it's like when they go with Trey, they were like, ooh, I moved into a different position that I didn't do it last time. Great, it's like that means outside I'm golden. You know, it's just a different mentality. I'm like, okay, so if I go into this, I like talk to myself. I'm like, he weighs most
I'm about
people.
to say, don't feel too bad. That's like almost 99.9 of everybody who goes with me.
I know.
So
it's just like,
okay. The way you feel, everyone else feels because they're like, dude, I don't want you to lay on me the whole time. I'm like, well, I mean, you don't have to go with me if you don't want
I mean,
to.
it's not lazy
I
either.
give you realistic looks. Like people, and that's the thing nowadays. People don't want the realistic looks. Like we were just talking about. Like
No.
people are in their own little islands.
Lie to me.
You know?
Lie to me. You know what I'm saying?
You know, and reality
Tell me I'm good at
sucks.
wrestling. I got that, didn't I? You're
Yeah,
like,
Mother Nature sucks, man.
that's my favorite. When I remember I'd be like walking by and someone's like, oh, I almost got that. You were like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they're like, no, I got that thing. You're like, nope. Because they didn't. You know, they're trying to believe some lie to feel better. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to be like, I didn't. Why didn't I do that? Maybe I should do more research. Maybe I should try. He's doing jujitsu as well after this.
Yeah.
Maybe I should try jujitsu. And nope, they pack up, leave, and they're just like content with the lie of like, he's just an asshole. I got it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's a simple way that people can like lie to themselves.
No, I agree.
I've
seen that before. I mean, you've probably seen that at the gym before where, I got you. I'm like, I was like, I guess to me, I don't really think about that because like practice is practice to me. It's not real.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. And there's too many people out there like think they have to win in practice all the time. And I saw that even when I was at Lee Summit, there's people who thought they had to win all the time. And it's like, dude, it's just practice. You're not gonna win a gold medal.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't. And that's the way I look at it. Practice is like, obviously you want to push yourself and make yourself better, but there be people actually like, and it's not even just Lee Summit, it's just in general. Like I've been around gyms where there's like, even at our gym, like there's people that think they have to win every round. Like, bro, you don't have to win every round. Like, what are you gonna win? What are you gonna get for winning every round? Like,
well, you also, even if you win the round, if you're a champion, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna pick yourself apart anyways.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I
Even
mean,
if you win,
and that's
you're
what I'm saying. Like,
I
never really understood that. Like, I used to be like that when I was like in high school. Like, if that tells you anything, like I used to be. That's what I'm saying. I used to be like that in high school. Like, I gotta win all the time. I gotta win all the time. Like, I gotta be the toughest dude in the room. Like in high school, like, and I was like that in college too. Like, I mean, like, yeah, you obviously have to have that mentality, but like I said before, I've found a fair balance now where I've obviously matured.
Yeah.
Where you don't have to be that douchebag that wins all the time.
Yeah.
Like, and if you take offense to this, obviously you do it. So, I mean, like I said, I don't really care. That's all I'm saying. Fire shots. Like, I don't really, like I said, I don't really care what people think, honestly.
Right.
Not here to please anybody. But, and yeah, also being mature. Like, I feel like when it's time to get serious, like when you should be like that way is when you have a fight.
Yeah.
Like if you have a fight coming up, obviously, all right, that makes sense. Like you should try to win all your rounds. But when you have a fight coming up, bro, you don't have to, like, you can turn that switch off. You don't have to, you know what I mean? You don't have to be the douchebag of the room.
It's a drain you. It'll drain you.
You know what I mean? Like, bro, like, what do you have to prove? Like, you're already at the, like, this goes for anybody. Like, you're already at the cream of the crop. You don't have to, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes you can just, like, you know, you could just, you know what I mean? You can just actually have some fun, like, until, like, it's, like, obviously when you find out you have a fight, like, obviously turn it back up. But
Mm-hmm.
when you don't have a fight, you don't have to kill your teammates. You don't have to hurt your teammates. Like,
Michael Chandler's a good example of that too. Like
yeah,
when he fought, when him and Gagey fought,
yeah.
and I mean that was like one of my favorite fights ever that I got to watch live. I was losing my shit,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, obviously he was beat the fuck up, and then you have to rest and you'd still practice, but you have to like not be in that headspace of like fights coming up, and his body doesn't look the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, well, yeah, if you looked like him in the octagon, like all the time, like doing the shit he does where people pull him and all that,
Mm-hmm.
and like extreme hard work, like I feel like that would drain you so fucking quick. And you'd be
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, I have a fight. Now I have to amp it up. I mean, there's a difference between like working hard in practice and like
Yeah.
not doing that. It's hard to describe unless you're in practice.
Mm-hmm.
But I get exactly where you're going. But yeah,
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, you're just injuring your teammates.
Right.
Bro, why do you need to injure your teammates? Like, dude, that doesn't help you. That doesn't help them.
Right.
Like, you're obviously making it worse for yourself because you need them.
Yeah.
You know, and I've seen that a lot being at the gyms, and it's like,
what are you doing to them?
That's
what
I'm
saying.
Like, like I said, you're not like, what, you're getting a gold star? You want me to get you a sticker?
Yeah,
like,
that new guy fucked him up. You were like,
and that goes for Amis and pros. Like, I've seen a lot of them where they'll just start like just teeing off on someone. I'm like, bro, like, it's just like, it's really not that serious, you know? And that's like, you don't even have a fight. Like, that makes no sense. Like,
he doesn't know how to block it yet. Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
I mean, there's dudes who'll do it. Like I said, there's been pros I've seen do it, and I don't like to call people out. I mean, honestly, like I said, if you get offended by this, you probably do it.
Yeah.
So you probably should stop doing it.
Looks like we're doing the mirror method. You
I
gotta
know,
look at yourself now.
That's what I was like. You probably should stop doing it because it's not making you any better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and all you're doing is hurting your teammates, and like nobody wants a bad teammate, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's one thing about me. I'm pretty blunt.
Yeah.
I don't really care. Like I said, I don't care. If
to be honest, that's why I liked you the most.
You hear me say that? Like, obviously, if you take offense to it, you probably should stop doing it because you probably do it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you, Gomi, Luca, all the dudes, if it was something in a round and I'm like beating myself up or whatever, or I'm like in a mode where I was like, oh, I could have done that, they're like, then fucking do it. You know what I'm saying? It's like you need that kind of honesty. You're like, yeah, you're right. And then I go home and like look it up, you know, or like find someone who did it or like ask Trey a question.
Yeah. And Trey's, man, he's the man to ask, man. Trey knows what he's doing, man.
Yeah.
And like I said, man, I'm not a big fan on it, dude. Like I said, I never say things like this, like, because I keep it to myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I always, like, I'm kind of happy I'm on here to kind of say that because, man, like, at the end of the day, you're just hurting your teammates. You're not getting any better by doing that, you know? And I know there's some people who are not going to like when I say, which I don't, like I said, I don't really care. You're not paying my bills. You're not helping me put my family in a better situation, so I could care less what you all think.
To be honest, you're in the best spot to do so. You're like, okay, you're offended. Great. Do you want to spar or something?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't even need to spar you. Like, I mean, for you to react the way, if you react to this, I mean, you know what you're doing is wrong. Like, I'm just calling you out on your bullshit. That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. Like, I mean, if you want to take offense to it, get mad, get huffy, puffy. I don't care. I really don't care.
Right.
Like, what you do ain't hurting me.
Yeah.
Because like I said, at the end of the day, I care about myself. I care about what I'm doing. I care about what my family's doing. I care about how I'm going to provide for my family.
Mm-hmm.
More than that, I don't care about anyone else around me.
Yeah.
Because what you do is your problem, not my problem.
For real.
Like,
you can't control it.
Yeah, I don't care. Like I said, like, whatever you want to do is your problem. Like, I'm a man enough to at least say, like, you probably should not be doing that. And like I said, I don't really care if you like it or not. So
I mean, it's not your thing, but I'm super excited for your fight because when I got to talk to people, you know, like Josh, and he's like, I've watched these guys go from the beginning of their career and watch it all the way till now. And the thing that we had the general consensus was like, Nick has gotten exceptionally better over this period of time. And I was like, you could be like, oh, I wrestled. I don't really need any of this jujitsu stuff. What is jujitsu? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're like, I'm a wrestler. Or you could use that as the asset to then be a technician now and like submit pros at a pro level in front of thousands of people.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, that's because I did the things that he didn't do.
Yeah.
Like MMA is like that final word. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
And I think when like to hit on that, it's allowing yourself to be teached, man.
Oh,
It's
be
allowing yourself
teachable.
to be teached and allowing yourself to honestly to be humble at the
Yeah.
same time, because it takes a lot of pride to let someone teach you things, man. And definitely when you've been competing at a high level, like I ain't gonna lie, sometimes I struggle with it, but if I want to get to where I want to be, I had to have someone else take the reins a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
because like I I mean for any that's for any good athlete. Sometimes I feel like you do have that struggle because you compete at a high level, you won so many achievements, so really people can't tell you anything. And then like sometimes you gotta learn that fair balance, that if you it's okay to have help,
Yeah.
you know? And like that's like with Trey, like at first, like I didn't really know Trey. And like I said, I'm pretty stubborn, man, because I remember he would try to teach me that, and I just kind of like, whatever, I can just, do what I've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I finally started listening to what he says, and it's the truth, man. Like his jits does change the fight game a lot, man.
Yeah.
From going from having to fight 3 rounds for 5 minutes to just ended in the first 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So like to him, like I thank Trey for that, man. I thank Trey for putting up with me too, man. Because like I said, I'm kind of a pain in the ass, dude. Like just in general, I won't say all the time, but I do have an attitude about me, and I definitely do thank Trey for putting up with me, man. Because I'm not kind of hard to kind of clash heads a lot, man. Because that's like just my pride and how competitive I am,
Yeah.
and just for who I am, man, and the way I hold myself. I hold my bars up here, man. Like my standards, like, and that's just